What is up, DTube Steem blockchain? So today I want to talk about picking the right altcoins. Now, why am I calling it that like that? Because what we have seen in crypto that has been here for now around 10 years is almost every year there's one coin that does amazing. It outperforms everything else. It's the coin of the year. And this is a this is a recurring trend that we see in crypto, is that usually every year there is one coin that outperforms everything else. Usually it's not the old coin. It's usually some new coin. So that sounds kind of tricky, right? Because you thought that you only had to buy the top 10 coins that already has done many thousands of X in value increase, and you thought, well, this is a safe bet, right? Because it's already up there. It's probably going to go up more. But that's not really how crypto works. How crypto works is, if you really get in early on something from like zero, from like the lowest point, and usually it's around the lowest point when something is new, then it usually only can go up, because people love to speculate on new coins, right? So most of the value in a project or in a coin usually happens when you pick the right one and in something that you have studied a lot. And you really have to study it for yourself, because no one else is going to help you there. So, for example, if a person study a project for a year, usually they kind of start to understand, is this really a good idea or is it really a bad idea? And this is kind of hard when you're kind of new to crypto, because you don't know anything. So you can take the learning curve in crypto is like a couple of years before you start to see what works, what doesn't work. So pick the right altcoin. And it's kind of silly, right? So for example, I've been involved on the Steem blockchain for almost 3 years now. But I picked an amazing altcoin last year, and that coin basically did more than if I would have posted than a daily posting on Steem for like 12 years. So one coin, picking one right coin that goes up, outperforms 12 years in another coin if you earn a little bit daily. Yes, that's crypto. It's like the value that you get in something when you pick the right thing is like insane. Okay, it's way more than when you are later into something. Because when you're later into something, you have already missed most of the fun, right? So most of the fun happens the first 1 to 3 years, right? And then after that, yeah, you can get a little bit, but not that much, right? So that's kind of like how this works, right? So, and I think Warren Buffett also does something similar, but with investments, that he only makes 1 or 2 trades per year, but they're like really big and been really studying them. And when you study something a lot, you kind of understand things better and you're going to make better decisions. Doesn't mean you're always going to be right, but you're going to get a better outcome. Okay? Especially if you're using critical thinking and consider, like, if you do some mistakes and fail in some things, and then you ask yourself, okay, why did I fail here? And you kind of learn from that. Usually you're going to get a better outcome in the future. So pick the right altcoin. That's my message. And the more I study this industry, it seems like the best thing to do right now is, like, it seems like they're mainly just, like, if we look at patterns and trends, there usually just is 1 or 2 amazing coins for a particular year, and the rest of the coins, they kind of do the same thing, as they kind of follow the whole industry, right? But there are always some kind of outlier coins, so maybe you should try to find them. Now, this is not always easy, right? It's not always easy to find them. Like, what is because it's like, what happens in crypto is you get all these marketers that tries to feed you all the old stuff that worked in the past. But the moment something has happened in the past, usually it doesn't repeat itself. It does usually not repeat itself, even though people wanna like believe it does when they look at charts and stuff like that, and like they try to find it, but usually it doesn't repeat itself. Like usually something new happens, and people kind of want to sell this idea that there's like some guaranteed thing in this, but it's not. Like there's no guarantees here. so so people that pick the right coins, they do well, right? They do extremely well, and everything else. And let's say they made one good decision once, and like they really learned the lesson there. Then they kind of realize in many ways that they don't have to compete against time, you know. So for example, what happens when you're late to something, and this is also what happens in jobs and stuff like that, that you are like a slave to time, like wage slave, that just because you haven't studied something enough means that you are like a wage slave or like a slow earner. But if you study something a lot and learn and take time out to learn about something deeper, that is when you can get amazing value, right? Because you're not doing the same thing that everyone else is doing. What everyone else is doing is to maybe go to YouTube, look for the top trending videos in maybe like crypto, and then they click on those videos and think that that is how you make something happen, right? But the problem is that that's not really the smartest thing. It's like what they've done in the video, they just appeal to the mainstream masses with like clickbait things that they mention a little bit fast, but they usually don't tell you the real good stuff, right? Because the real good stuff is really rare. Like making value is hard. Like if you want to make a lot of value, it's really hard. Because the moment something works, then other people kind of jump in, right? And then there is eventually less opportunity. So one thing you kind of want to try to do in life is kind of want to build a moat where you're gathering skills and you're doing stuff and you're becoming more competent. You're doing things that other people are not doing. So maybe you take up new habits. Maybe you try new stuff that other people don't do. And most other people, why they kind of fail in many things is because they don't stick to things, right? So and it's kind of true, right? People don't stick to things. People don't try so many new things. But if you just like can stick to a few things, you can get amazing outcomes, right? And now I mean like sticking to stuff for decades, and that's something that usually people don't want to hear, right? But yeah, you can really get amazing results when you're picking the right altcoins. And the thing I said about altcoins is I'm going to stop calling it altcoins the moment we're going to get a flipping event. So